from telling the whole story and not just part of the story. I don't know how corporate media is covering it, but this article, for example, is from World Socialist website. But let's listen to this short clip. That news clip is about 2 minutes.
School student and a 29-year-old off-duty police officer. The other victims, all women, range in age from 34 to 52. The Thursday afternoon shootings began an hours-long manhunt. We have a lot of news to get to tonight, and CBS's Elise Preston is going to start us off from Raleigh. Good evening, Elise.
Nora, the Wake County District Attorney, is expected to charge that 15-year-old suspect as an adult.
She told me she was gone. I said, all right, be safe.
You told her be safe.
But Thursday was anything but safe for Tracy Howard's wife, Nicole Connors, who left their quiet Raleigh neighborhood to celebrate her friend's 60th birthday. When Howard returned home, he found them both.
Sorry, let me restart that. All right, so now we'll start the segment here for when I cut it. So 15-year-old kills 5 in Raleigh, North Carolina, and let's listen to the clip.
School student and a 29-year-old off-duty police officer. The other victims, all women, range in age from 34 to 52. The Thursday afternoon shootings began an hours-long manhunt. We have a lot of news to get to tonight, and CBS's Elise Preston is going to start us off from Raleigh. Good evening, Elise.
Nora, the Wake County District Attorney, is expected to charge that 15-year-old suspect as an adult.
She told me she was gone. I said, all right, be safe.
You told her be safe.
But Thursday was anything but safe for Tracy Howard's wife, Nicole Connors, who left their quiet Raleigh neighborhood to celebrate her friend's 60th birthday. When Howard returned home, he found them both shot and bleeding, his wife and their dog lifeless on their front porch.
I froze. I didn't know what to do. You know, could have tried to perform CPR or something, but I just froze. So I called 911.
Connors is one of 5 victims killed in yesterday's shooting. Her friend Marcille Gardner was critically injured in the rampage.
I saw someone walking down Osprey Cove right here with a gun.
What kind of clothing is he wearing?
He's wearing all camo. He looks like he's like 16.
Just after 5 p.m., police found 2 people shot in the street and then discovered more victims along a tree-lined walking trail.
There are several families in our community waking up this morning without their loved ones.
Officers eventually contained the alleged 15-year-old gunman in a house 2 miles away. He was taken into custody in critical condition from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. His older brother, 16-year-old James Thompson, is among the dead, along with 34-year-old Mary Marshall, off-duty Raleigh police officer Gabriel Torres, and Susan Carnitz, a mother of 3.
No child, no grandparent, no one should feel this fear in their communities.
Now, police have not named the suspect and a motive is not known. This is the nation's 25th mass murder this year.
Yeah, so that kind of gives you foundation. But there is another clip that's also kind of short. I think it's shorter than this one that I also want to show you because it gives more detail that I want to start out with here. Where is it here? That's 1. Okay. That's 2. Hard to hear that story. Sorry. So, let me listen to this. All right. No, I think that's good. I don't think I have to play another one because I don't know if I want to play another one. All right. So now let's go back to the story. So now let's read about what's happening with this story. 15-year-old shooter in camouflage kills 5 in Raleigh, North Carolina. That is the headline. This is from the World Socialist website. It's written by Kevin Reed. 2 days ago. So a 15-year-old gunman shot 7 people, killing 5 of them in the early evening of Thursday in a residential neighborhood of the state capital city of Raleigh, North Carolina. And this is a picture. The caption the caption reads, "Neighbors embrace as police remain on the scene at Castle Pine Drive in Sahali Way following a mass shooting Thursday night in Raleigh, North Carolina on Friday, October 14th. Authorities said the crime scene stretched over 2 miles as the shooter gunned down victims in their yard and on a trail that winds through wetlands and Pine Grove in the Hedingham neighborhood on the northeast side of the city. CNN reported that a handgun and a long gun were recovered from the scene and that the suspect wore camouflage and carried a camouflage backpack based on information from someone with knowledge of the investigation. A witness named Robert Anderson appeared on NBC Today show on Friday morning and said he saw the gunman from his back deck. Quote, he had a camouflage shirt, camouflage pants, black boots, and he also had a backpack that looked like it was filled to the brim. Anderson added, quote, he was walking around, and when I tell you he was walking, it was like nothing had happened. He was just walking, looking straight forward. He had his gun on his side, and it was pointed downward, and he was just walking, end quote. The shooting began at approximately 5 p.m. and after 4 911 calls were made, a manhunt ensued. According to Raleigh Mayor Mary Ann Baldwin, who spoke at a press conference by 8 p.m., the suspect was contained inside a residence, and at 9:40 p.m., he was apprehended. Although officials have not released the identity of the shooter, the teenager has been identified by the News and Observer of Raleigh as Austin Thomas, a sophomore at Nightdale High School and the brother of one of the shooting victims. Thomas was taken to Wake Med Hospital and is in critical condition with unspecified injuries. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to skip to just to read the victims out of their respect and then go into how this article talks about what's happening here. Because this article isn't just a fact base. It talks about, it examines what this phenomenon is and what it's saying largely. So let's read. Where does the victims go here? Here. The 5 victims killed have been identified as off-duty Raleigh police officer Gabriel Torres, 29, Nicole Connors, 52, Sue Carnaz, 49, Mary Marshall, 35, and James Roger Thompson, 16. That's the brother. A police officer was injured and has been released from hospital. Another victim shot was Marcel Lynn Gartner, 59, who is in critical condition, according to Raleigh Police Chief Estelle D. Patterson. So now let's scroll down because it just gives more evidence here, more discussion here. But let's start here. According to the Gun Violence Archive, there have been 533 mass shootings in the U.S. in 2022. Wow. 533 mass shootings. That's just incredible. Let's take that off. Let's continue. A map of the location of the mass shooting defined as shooting with a minimum of 4 victims shot, either injured or killed, not including the shooter, shows that they have occurred in most major metropolitan areas of the U.S. and in more than 2/3 of the states. The American political establishment has no explanation or solution for this staggering reality because it cannot acknowledge the underlying social causes in the inequities and violence of the capitalist system. That is such a very important point. So I'm going to read this part again, but this is such an important point. Let's make this, oh shoot, made it larger and it did something when I did that. So my apologies. Let's go back. All right. So now let's read. The American political establishment has no explanation or solution for this staggering reality because it cannot acknowledge the underlying social causes and the inequities and violence of the capitalist system. And I'm reading it again because I want to start here and discuss. Because they never, just like what they cannot acknowledge the underlying problem, which is all the social problems due to all the inequities and capitalism. So what do they talk about? Oh, gun violence. Look, y'all are against gun rights, gun this. We need gun laws. Gun laws just put, if this whole situation was a boiling pot of water, gun laws just put a lid on it. It doesn't stop the water from boiling. Because they have to avoid talking about it because then you have to objectively and critique capitalism. So you have to make it these other things. You have to, and now it is mental conditions in some case, but even those who are mentally ill who could do these things is also connected to capitalism because they can't get the help because of capitalism. And also we're going to get to another story where a pregnant UPS employee commits suicide and it was mental health problem and she asked for help from UPS several times and did get nothing. So it still speaks to capitalism, but this is the reason why it continues. It continues, and the reason why our government cannot address it, because in order to address it, you have to address capitalism. So what do they make it out to be? We just need sensible gun laws. We just need background checks. How many of these shootings where the person had a gun legally? Refusing to address the actual issue. Let me go to your comments here. Universal health care is needed. If only we had a state-funded force of social workers paid to protect the public. Being sarcastic. Right. This is why we need Medicare for all. A lot of you make that point. Yes, I am being. This is a lot of Captain Obvious. And there's a person called Captain Obvious, and that's who Robert is referring to. There's an actual person named Captain Obvious in the comments. But let's continue. I thought that was a very, very important point to stop and pause and point out that point. So let's get back to the article, and I'll be bringing this segment to an end and getting to the pregnant employee, UPS employee, in just a moment here. That's the next segment that's coming up. In a society in which police kill more than 1,000 people per year, and an unending war abroad have resulted in decades of death and destruction that have become normalized by the corporate media, the epidemic of mass shootings finds fertile ground. This is combined with glorification and promotion of right-wing and fascistic, I always have a problem saying that, ideology and groups by substantial fascist factions of Republican Party that is aimed at the destruction of the basic democratic rights of the working class. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party fears the rising struggles of the working class more than it does the emergence of fascism in the U.S. and advances a gun control agenda which will not stop the carnage. So great points made in this article. Make sure you go check it out. Let me see if I read this last part here. The New York Times reported that the Democratic governor of North Carolina, Roy Cooper, said on Friday, quote, "It was already clear that elected officials needed to do more to address the scour of gun violence," end quote. President Biden also released a statement on Friday declaring, quote, "Enough," end quote, and quote again, "We must pass an assault weapons ban," never addressing the issue ever.